Hi fans, welcome today to Studio Jake. I'm very excited to have Ezra Celeste, as she is known on Twitter. She is a blogger and also does a whole bunch of creative projects on the side. She does photography, I believe, and a couple other things, which I'll let her talk about in a minute because I don't want to butcher it. But Ezra, welcome to Studio Jake.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And it's actually Ezra Celeste.
Oh, Celeste, I'm sorry. Ezra
Yeah, no, that's
Celeste. All
fine.
right, there we go.
Yeah.
So now Ezra and I found out we have a big something we're very into is Sherlock. We're both huge fans of that, and we were saddened to find out that this last season was the last season. We waited, what was it, 3 years for series 4, and then now they're saying that that could be the last one. What?
Yes. However, they say that, I feel like they say that every year. So I'm not really, I'm holding out that they're going to come back with more.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they are saying that they're thinking about a feature film, so hopefully that is true.
oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of in the rumor mill, but they're saying what's his name, Martin,
Um,
not Martin Freeman, the guy who's the producer. He also produced Doctor Who for a while. I can't think of his name. Um, And now
I can't either.
I'm going to get trolled by Sherlock fans who think I should know this. But anyway, he has a script for a Sherlock feature film that would bring back Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch. So that
That
is
would
the
be
rumor.
awesome.
Now, aside from Benedict Cumberbatch, there's also been a couple other guys who have played Sherlock Holmes, the character. Do you have any that you hold in high regard?
No, I think my favorite has been Benedict Cumber. Is it Cumberbatch or Cumberbatch? I always say
I've heard it
Cumberbatch. I'm
both
not sure.
ways, so I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments. My viewers, let me know in the comments below how you think it's pronounced. But anyway,
Yeah, which one's the correct one? Um, I've I've loved his. He plays just the perfect sociopathic Sherlock.
yes.
I was not a fan of Rob Lowe as Sherlock.
Rob
Was
Lowe?
it Rob Lowe?
You mean Robert
No,
Downey
no, no,
Jr.?
no. Yes, Robert Downey
Oh,
Jr.
okay.
Yes, I was not a fan of him. And then I haven't seen Elementary on CBS, which
No,
it's
me
supposed
neither.
to be. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be Sherlock-esque or featured after Sherlock, but I haven't seen that one, so I'm not sure how that goes. And
My,
then, like I had mentioned before, I love Wishbone as Sherlock.
of course, yes. The every child in the '90s remembers Wishbone as Sherlock. I think they made
Exactly.
two, didn't they? They made Hound of the Baskervilles and A Scandal in Bohemia.
Oh, they did? I
Yeah.
don't remember the scandal. I remember definitely the Hound of Baskerville.
I remember because they had the scene with the photograph. So are you hearing any back feed? I think it sounds like do you hear any back feed going on?
There we go.
Oh, okay, okay,
Is that better?
that's better. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, and one of my favorite guys who he's actually an actor in the way like 1990. I think he might have even been in the 80s, but Jeremy Brett played Sherlock Holmes on Sherlock Holmes Mysteries. Up until Benedict Cumberbatch, he was probably my favorite Sherlock. It's just he nailed the role. So, but he was pretty cool. Um, so moving on. Now, you're also involved in a ton of creative projects. Why don't you share a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So currently, I serve as a director of communications within the charter school sector of education. So I handle writing, photography, brand management, all that good stuff for a charter school district in Dallas.
Nice.
And then on the side, I do some blogging, some photography stuff on the side as well, and then other nonprofit work. And I apologize. So Texas is as you know, full of allergies, especially right now. So my voice is like a little raspy and goes in and out. But yes, that's what I that's kind of a summary of what I do.
Now, charter schools, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, charter schools are taking away from public schools." What would you say to because my where I am from in Texas, which I actually grew up in Dallas, by the way. I bleed blue and
Oh,
silver, but for a while I lived in Beaumont, Texas, which is kind of east of Houston, and there are charter schools because there were charter schools popping up all over, and one of the biggest complaints was the school district would say these charter schools are taking our students away and whatnot. Of course, so what would your response be to someone who would come up and say, "Hey, these charter schools are bad for our school system, our public school system"?
so I do understand the fact that they take away money, right? Because the money follows the child wherever the child goes.
Right.
But having the choice, having a different type of choice for the parents is always better than just one choice
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, it gives education back to the parents. So they get to choose if they want to go to the regular public school, which maybe it's not fulfilling their needs. So having a different option, um, being able to have a smaller community, because generally charter schools are much smaller, they're a lot more family knit.
Right.
And each class is smaller, so you're able to give more individual attention to each student. So I do understand how the money, there's a money issue, but you've got you've got all of these parents looking for another option, and they can't wait
Mm-hmm.
for the public school to, in their neighborhood or just in general, the public education to fulfill their needs. I mean, what are you going to do? Wait 5 years for a public school to get it together? No, they want to find something different. So
Right.
a lot of these communities have decided to build charter schools, get those started so that they can fulfill the needs that they need for their children.
Now, a lot of people think of social media strategy in this case as, oh, well, you're just a robot and you're just sending out random tweets for this organization. But really, a lot of because I've been a social media marketer, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of creativity goes in actually planning some of the social media strategies. So, what's a strategy that you like to use when getting out the message of your charter school district?
I like to make sure that we let the parents and the students talk about their experience. So if and if it's a terrible experience, then I want to know too, right? I want to talk to the parents, and then obviously that's not part of the marketing strategy. You don't want to put a parent out there that's saying charter school is terrible, but
Right, right, of course.
but that's the thing about having charter schools is that parents aren't going to stay if the school ends up being terrible.
Right,
They have the option to go back to whatever public school they were going to.
right.
So back to the marketing strategy, it's just a lot of telling the stories of why parents and students decided to come to this particular charter school, how it's meeting their specific needs, um, and perhaps why they decided that this charter school was a better option for the student and their family.
That makes sense. And, you know,
Yeah.
shifting to another same social media topic, but also on social media strategy, um, conservatives, those of us who are center right or conservatarian or libertarian or whatever, we've had a lot of trouble catching up with social media. We were hot when it came to blogs, right? We're the ones who debunked Dan Rather and Mary Mapes, right? The George Bush,
Right.
we the George Bush military record controversy. We debunked that, and but then when it came to social media, all of a sudden we fell behind where we had been leading and now we fell behind, but now it seems we're kind of starting to catch up a little bit. um, it seems like every time now left wingers start a hashtag, now we're co-opting it and using it for ourselves. So how do you think that? How can we catch up more? How can we do better? Because it still seems like the left kind of has an edge when it comes to social media.
Well, I think a lot of it just has to do with getting more people involved in social media. So the left seems to always have this army behind them,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have like Elizabeth Warren's always tweeting out just lovely things. Um,
Right, right.
and she gets this army behind her that retweets and uses that hashtag, and they start getting tattoos of, she persisted on themselves.
Right.
So we don't seem to have that same type of army. So I think getting not the same. We definitely don't want, right SJWs, but
Right.
we want more people involved and doing the retweets and getting people out there. So I think that we're on the right track, especially because, I mean, with Trump winning, I think it had a lot to do with all these young people coming in and kind of revamping the right social media type of thing. Not all of it was great, mind you, but it's definitely helped.
And I really think too, Gamersgate. I don't know if you're familiar with Gamersgate, but that really helped conservatives because what we saw was conservatives sided with the gamers, right, for the first time
Yes.
ever. Because and that was one thing that I always thought the right did wrong was when violent video games were coming out. Oh, we should ban violent. No, no, we don't want to ban anything. But this time the left was saying we should ban sexist video games, and the right actually sided with the gamers. So we were the cool people for a little while, and I really think that
Yes.
helped us catch up a little bit. That was a huge step. What do you think about? Do you agree, or what are your thoughts?
Very much so. And along the same lines, it made the conservative movement cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think it honestly is becoming a cool thing, especially on universities, which
Right.
is another reason we're getting more involved in social media, is that you have all of these um, kids on, or all of these, well, they're not kids, right? But they're the conservative right on universities that are being silenced, that they're getting they're trying to have speakers on campus, and they're having riots against them. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to social media, I think they're utilizing social media a whole lot more and getting their voice out through that platform, and
Right.
they're in a sense making it cool.
And I wasn't even like when GamerGate happened. I wasn't even a gamer. I was a retired gamer. I had been a
Oh,
gamer up
exactly.
until maybe about 2008, but college
Mm-hmm.
kind of forced me to slow my gaming down, and I just never caught back up. But even still, I was like, no, just because if you don't like this video games, you think it has a sexist theme to it, don't buy it. Write a bad review about it.
Exactly.
Just don't buy it, because there are plenty of games where my wife, in fact, just bought a video game where the main character is a female character, and she's a strong, feminine, powerful character. And so there are those games out there. But then we have people making YouTube documentaries that don't get finished, but they still somehow get money from it, and all this. So, but yeah, exactly, and I really think that the right had really stepped up in that circumstance.
Very much so.
And do you think that do you think we'll have the opportunity to do that again? Because, like you said, now it's happening on the education field. The right is now saying no, we need free speech, and the left is saying no, hate speech is not free, or free speech is hate speech. And all this. So now we have this opportunity. Do you see like maybe that happening in another field, like Hollywood, for instance?
I think Hollywood seems to be going a little slower,
Mm-hmm.
but it's it is slowly catching up. I mean, we had Tim Allen go. I forgot what show it was, but
Jimmy
he
Kimmel, I
said
think,
it's
right?
Jimmy
Yeah.
Kimmel. Yeah, it was one of those late night shows, and he all of a sudden came out and said, "I'm a conservative," but to say that I'm a conservative out in Hollywood is, it's not something that you want to
Yeah, he
do.
said it's like
Um,
1930s Germany.
yeah, yeah, which he got a lot of flack
Yeah.
for, but hey, he came out and said it, and Um, I think slowly we're starting to see that type of movement, but I'm not sure that it's going to be as quick as the universities. The universities are just, I mean, they're on fire, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
I think right now Berkeley is, Lauren Southern is at Berkeley, Gavin McInnes is at Berkeley right now, and like they have all this writing going on.
It's
It's,
crazy.
yeah,
Now,
it's crazy.
now I have heard people say this. I know like a handful of Hollywood insiders, and they say you'd be surprised how many conservatives there are in Hollywood. It's just there was a because what happened used to be is Hollywood was on the right because of all the producers and directors. Well, then the new directors and producers were liberal because they were all coming from New York, and then they took over, and so there's actually more like actors and editors and screenwriters who are conservatives, but they have to kind of play to the left because they're afraid of backlash. And hopefully, though, some are brave, like Chris Pratt. I don't think necessarily he's like a full
Yes.
on conservative, but he's definitely more center right, and he's bold, he's
And
brave, and hopefully this
yes,
will be a Gamersgate moment for Hollywood. So
I definitely hope so, especially since Chris Pratt has even come out and said I'm definitely a Christian
right.
and my faith is very important to me. So I thought that was kind of bold of him because no one really comes out and says that. It's like the cool thing in Hollywood is to be atheist and
Yeah.
liberal. But I'm hoping that stuff like the Pepsi commercial was like they went full SJW and that completely fell on their face. You don't go full
Yeah.
SJW,
It's
and they did it,
bad idea.
and it was a mess. So I'm hoping that they start realizing you can't baby everyone, and you can't just try to please them because obviously you can't please them.
Well, yeah, especially with Kendall Jenner, who's about as white and rich as and spoiled as you could possibly get, but and privileged. I need to throw that word in there to make
Yeah, check her privilege every
every
day.
day. All right, so Ezra, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Ezra Celeste. That's EzraCeleste. As well as EzraCeleste.com.
Awesome, and I'm going to do a shameless plug. Everyone, get my paranormal novel Cacophony. You can get it on Amazon, and now it's available in Kindle, so you can download it onto your iPad or Verizon tablet or whatever kind of tablet you have. Be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to find me on Twitter at RealJacobAiry and on my blog, www.jacoberry.blog. Thank you again, Ezra, so much. It was so good talking to
Thank
you.
you.
You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.